it's time to welcome the legend, the man himself, the one, the only, the true world champion, the Iron Sheik. How you doing, Sheiky?
Oh, I'm hanging there, sir. How are you?
Good. And who do you have with you?
Oh, my agent, John, with me, and I'm by
John
myself.
Is with you? Okay.
How you guys doing?
Very good. Hey, John, how you doing?
Everything's great. Thanks for having us, guys.
Hey, thank you for making this happen. Very honored. I want to tell a quick funny...
Can you guys hear us properly?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here perfectly fine.
Perfect.
I want to tell a quick funny story of myself with the Iron Sheik. I used to work the independent circuit in the Jersey, Philly, in the tri-state area. And this was probably about 20 years ago. It's probably around 95. I was working on a show at the Sheik in North Jersey somewhere. And we were wrestling for Dennis Caroluzzo. And we rode in Dennis's partner's van, like a 2-hour ride. And it was myself, Sheik, and a couple other the indie guys on the show. So me and my buddies, the other indie guys, we brought a case of beer with us. And we were drinking, and we offered some beer to the Sheik. And he sat there for a 2-hour ride, literally not saying a word, just drinking his beer, and he was like the most polite and just very, a word that he uses a lot, very humble person. It was kind of shocking. But the funny part was, usually when you're drinking beer, you have to take a leak. So we stopped on the Jersey Turnpike on the middle of the road. And it was me, 2 other indie wrestlers, the Iron Sheik, Dennis Caroluzzo, and Dennis's partner, all on the side of the turnpike taking a piss.
Good memory. I mean, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Probably you know what you're talking on in it. And
Sheik, do you remember taking the leak on the turnpike?
Well, I don't know about turnpike, but probably you're right. I can't remember, but maybe yes, maybe not. I don't know.
So, Sheik, I want to thank you for coming on here tonight. And I got to say, I watched the documentary they made about you today, and it was really an incredible film they made.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate it. Say that because that the twin brother Megan boys and Jean and Pashman and Jake and Mike, they did a good job, and that's true story. And I respect your opinion to know they did an excellent job. I'm happy. I hope going to be all right for the future.
Yeah. Now, what did you think? I mean, it's an incredible story that. An incredible life you have lived. When you watched it for the first time, what did you think about it?
Oh, I think about it. I think that's true story, and I think they did an excellent job, and I'm happy because all is true and believable, and I was very happy.
Good. Now, how about
happy and also happy and also sometimes bad about something, not about them, about myself or something, but
right.
They did a good job. Right?
Because the reality is that Sheik gave us all access to tell his story, right?
Right.
And he doesn't even realize, all the things that he's really seen and done in his life, and to have it being recounted, it actually gives him a great amount of pride on his, career when it's shown, for the fans.
Yeah, I mean, it truly, like, especially the early years when he was still in Iran. Growing up in Iran and training to become a wrestler. And seeing the pictures of him with a full head of hair. I mean, and there was a lot of pictures of him. I was like, wow. I mean, it was just really well done. And the one thing I was wondering now, watching it, like, Sheik, were you a fan of actual professional wrestling while you were still doing, the real style of wrestling?
Well, I was in Minnesota. I was Greco-Roman wrestling, and I was on the team Minnesota Wrestling Club. And 3 times my team come first place, and anytime team come first place, and myself also, Mr. Ghani invited the team to his television station and put up my team over, and I watched the wrestling, and then I found out maybe someday I'll be professional there. And from I just started in Minnesota to come pro, because I know I cannot wrestling amateur all my life. I have to do something I can make a little bit better living, and that from the first I watched it, I was interested to be a professional wrestler someday.
Now, did you? I mean, it's 2 different worlds: the world of amateur wrestling and professional wrestling. Did you like the style of crowd wrestling in front of that professional wrestling crowd?
You're absolutely right. Different world, different crowd, different technique, different ring psychology, different atmosphere. You're 100% right, sir. But that took me many years to get that psychology and technique, everything. But I was from all my life, everything I did, Iran and American, the Greco-Roman wrestling and freestyle wrestling, toughest sport in the world. For me, was a little bit. I had a lot of people because I had that important stuff about wrestling. But professional, completely different, and hard. You have to go to school, you have to train, you have to learn new technique. Completely was different.
Right. Yeah, and you mentioned Vern Gagne, which sadly he passed away recently, and I know you really he's the one that really got you into the world of professional wrestling. I'm really sorry for your loss there, Sheik.
Thank you, sir. And my Olympic coach from Minnesota also, Mr. Alan Rice, and Mr. Alan Rice take me to the Mr. Gagne office, introduced to him. He was Mr. Gagne himself. Vern Gagne was himself All-America College, one of the greatest, one of the best wrestlers, and then promoter. And then he helped a lot of amateur wrestler, and he was a great man. God bless his soul, and his son Greg and his family, good people. And I started in the Minnesota. As a matter of fact, Ric Flair, Camputera, myself, Jim Brunzeller, Greg Gagne, we started 74 in the Mr. Gagne farm, and then he was my first professional coach, and his assistant was Billy Robinson. I started over there. I learned a lot of things from that great man.
Wow. Yeah, he is a true legend. He definitely is, and he's going to be very missed.
Exactly.
Now, how about Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say something I did not know watching this, and I was really kind of taken back by it, was you were actually the Shah of Iran's bodyguard.
Yeah, that time was in Iran. I was working national Iranian television station, and anytime Shah come, his family, to go to the press police or different area. I was a security by door, and I go with them with their family. Yeah.
Yeah. Now.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, it was just. Were you? Like, did you have to do a lot of crazy things or protection for the Shah? I mean that's huge.
Well, anytime you come to the special press or press police and the television station, but when my real job was working for the national Iranian television station, but the sort of Iran press police, anytime they come, I have to go over there with security and watch him. Nobody heard him, and I had that job. Plus, I was working in national Iranian television station.
Right. Huh. So, all right, so going back. Go ahead, John.
He's like working at the major Iranian TV station at the time. That was his main job, and then he would go and work for the Shah when he came to town.
That's crazy. Something you never would have expected if you didn't know. So, while you were working early on for Vern Gagne, when they decided to make you become the true Iron Sheik and you started with the whole Sheik gimmick, were you surprised and like how was it for you having the fans just truly hate you?
Well, I was Montreal Olympic game 1976, and Mr. Gagne and his wife, Mrs. Gagne, they was over there. And I tell him I like to change my style from good guy to be bad guy. And then Mr. Gagne, Mrs. Gagne, and give me that name by name, the Iron Sheik. And then I just, because I was naturally speak Farsi and from our country and was perfect for my gimmick or image, whatever you want to call. So, and that way I started to work wrestling by name Iron Sheik.
But did like early on when did you take it personally? Like all the hatred you would get from the fans early on, was it something? Because I'm sure you weren't used to that.
Well, absolutely, because I speak Farsi. I was a real Iranian, and then hostage situation, and then I come with the Ayatollah flag, and my gimmick was a real shoot, and unbelievable. I speak Farsi. Nicola speak Russia, and then with the Russia flag, Iranian flag, we had the most heat than any American in the WWE history. So, and to me it was natural, and because I was a real shooter, wrestler, good, Olympic, AAU, Pan American, and then I turned pro, and I speak Farsi, and was wrestling the biggest territory in the world, WWE, and it was for me natural, and was never anybody get a heat like myself that days.
Sure. I mean, you were the one. I mean, let's face it. You were the man who truly made the history of launching Hulkamania. I mean, if it wasn't for you, the wrestling world would never have gone to the heights that it did through those years.
God bless you. You're intelligent man yourself. You travel with me, with Dennis Caruso, and New Jersey, that area. You know I'm real. I was believable. I'm real from our country. And then to the Megan boys and Gian Pashman, their father, I know their father from our country. And we wrestling same wrestling, and Gian or Pashman father, there was he was one of the top 3 ping pong player, and father know me from Iran. We was same club. So the big I come to America, and Gian Pashman, they was young, and they was watching the Iron Sheik all the time, and they know I was real. That's because they make that documentary about me, and especially you yourself know about Iron Sheik, and I'm very happy to talk to you.
Well, thank you, Sheik. Now, I got a question for Jean. I mean, the story that was really kind of incredible too inside this documentary was how you guys met the Sheik, and it turned out that your father knew him from Iran.
Yeah, that's right. My father and him grew up together playing sports in Iran, and were really, really good friends, best friends. And but they had separated. My dad moved to Canada, the Sheik moved to the U.S., and they lost touch until we were born. When we were 3 years old, our mother ran into the TV room that we were sitting in, and she yelled, "Who's saying all those bad words in Persian?" And we didn't know what was going on. Wrestling so happened to be on. And then she started screaming, "That's your dad's friend. That's your daddy's best friend." And we ended up growing up with this man in our lives. We're just the lucky two guys whose dad had a history with the Iron Sheik. It's just, that's just how it happened for me. It's surreal still to this day that I've had the pleasure of being a part of this man's life, and we've known this man our whole lives. It's a pretty awesome, fun story.
It's one of them things too that you can truly say that. I mean, this whole thing was truly fate. I mean, for everything to happen like this.
Oh, dude, we had no intention of making anything more than a step above a shoot video. Like we were just guys, who just wanted to, just document his life, and we had no idea that what started in 2008, and then completed, 6 years later,
wow.
And to get all this awesome feedback, it's just fantastic.
Is this the first time you and your brother ever did anything like this, or have you done other films, or?
We've been in entertainment and in wrestling actually for today. April 30th is actually my first show was in '98, so my 17th anniversary in the business. And we used to run shows, and we've filmed a whole bunch of events, and so we have experience in production, but we've never made a movie or anything, and it happened quite organically, and I think in the end the right story was told. I think the right message and legacy for the Sheik was told.
I agree. I mean, it's a roller coaster ride of the Sheik's life, the ups, the downs, the high points, the low points, the sad points. I mean, it truly is, like you said, you guys really did get very personal and into the life of the Iron Sheik that many people would not know. And I mean, honestly, especially at the point where you guys brought his wife and daughters into it, who are in this the documentary for a good portion of this. I was kind of shocked by that too, because I know how the Sheik has been over the years, and I was kind of shocked, like they were there and open about it, and it was an open discussion that everybody was able to talk, and also it seems like you guys all worked on helping him, with his addictions and all over the years. So I mean, it was kind of like a good thing as well. It was like a team effort for you guys.
Yeah, it couldn't have been done without all the people that got involved, and there are the Sheik's family. There's his wife and his two beautiful daughters are strong, real like women's women. Like Oprah approved, like make women proud kind of women. And
right.
You got to understand that at one point before Iron Sheik was Iron Sheik, he was Khosrow Vaziri, right? And so
right.
For a portion of their lives and a big portion of his wife's life, she was dating, the hotter version of Balki. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then he shaved his head and became the all-time biggest heel, not because he was a bad guy, but because of the situation with the hostages. And then he ended up going from becoming the Khosrow Vaziri, the American Iranian, to Iron Sheik, the trash-talking badass, okay? And that character consumed his life, and he became the Iron Sheik, and he lost Khosrow Vaziri. And I'm happy to say, because I speak to the man every day, and it's just such a blessing to be able to, like, you know, just live out my dream. You know, I have a real job and I have a real family, and, you know, but on the side, I get to check in with Sheiky Baby and do a podcast and just make sure that he's being represented in the best way. It's just a dream, you know.
Nice. Well, I mean, speaking of being represented in the best way, I mean, there was a lot of big names from the wrestling business in this film. I mean, you had Mick Foley, Jake the Snake Roberts, and The Rock. I mean, The Rock, and I mean, Hogan was in it as well. But honestly, you got to say that The Rock is truly probably not only the biggest name in the wrestling business today, but the whole entertainment business. And he was part of this documentary for a huge portion as well.
Yeah, like he just comes out and really takes our documentary, our very personal approach on telling a story, and then takes it and does what he does. Whatever that gimmick he did on Saturday Night Live, where he puts his steroids in it, like he did a thing where he's the sequel man, right? And like anything he touches is just, and that's what he kind of did in a certain way. Like documentaries aren't box office, you know, blockbusters, but he actually gave us such a boost of credibility that, you know, it's not me, it's the Sheik. It's just a testament to who the Sheik is. And, you know, Sheik, what do you got to say to The Rock?
Oh, Rock is himself great performer, great movie star, and also come from wrestling background. Father, Rocky Johnson, and doing and Johnson, Rock doing great, but also I respect him. He said true about Iron Sheik, because I was the first one to tell the American he's a Jabroni. And he learned from Jabroni from Iron Sheik, and he mentioned it himself, and that's why I respect him. Just like I respect you. Do you remember, God bless my friend Dennis Caruso from New Jersey, and you stopped in by tone fuck you talking. You really know who I am, and you know what you're talking. That I respect you because you know who I am, where I come from, what I did in America. And I mean, I don't have to talk anymore about Hulk Hogan. Everybody know without Mr. McMahon and without Iron Sheik, no Hulkamania. So that's why I respect you. You know about that. And that,
absolutely.
I don't want to put myself over too much, because you are one of us yourself. You know, I traveled with you, and you know about me better than a lot of people, especially talking about 20 years ago in New Jersey. I have a lot of respect for you.
You know, the funny thing, too, about that ride, Sheik, you didn't speak much. You smiled the whole time. And like I said, every time we gave you a beer, it was thank you. But after you took that piss, the biggest statement you said was, that was the bestest piss ever. And that was all you said the rest of the ride.
I can't believe it. You have a hell of a memory, you know, and a small world, I guess. So God bless you, Caruso. He was a good man too, right?
He was. He was like another father to me. He used to call me every day, and we used to go sit and meet in the Jersey diners a couple nights a week, and just eat and drink and just talk wrestling and promoting shows and stuff. And yeah, I miss Dennis a lot.
Right on.
So another person that was really huge and really bringing the Sheik back to the forefront, and really, I think, responsible for changing the whole persona and the outlook on the Sheik was Howard Stern, which is, you know, how did that happen?
Well, Howard Stern invited me to his television station, and then with Eric Sims, we went over there, and he was a very nice man to myself, and I had a good interview, and with Eric Sims, we went together. It was that time different interview, and I started over, and he also took me around with a killer comedian He is a very nice man. He take care of me, and I have a lot of respect for our wrestler.
That's awesome. And another thing that is huge, that has really put you out in the forefront as well, is your Twitter account. Like, people love the Iron Sheik on Twitter.
That everybody talk about it anywhere I go, but Sean can explain it better than that what I heard. And people sometimes they maybe get mad at me. Sometimes they love me, they like me, maybe they don't like me. But that Twitter, everybody talk about it. You're absolutely right, sir.
Jan, you have to crack up at some of this stuff that you guys put out, and I'm sure some of the responses are just as funny.
You know, we take a lot of pride in just, you know, maintaining the Sheik's voice and maintaining his brand and his image, and it's a lot of fun. It gets everyone's creative juices going. There's just so much banter about it online, and you know it keeps the Sheik relevant. And you know those are things, you know, that you know in some way, shape, or another he's actually saying, right? You know, and he you know we just help him, you know, put it to paper, and it's just you know, as long as the fans like it, you know he'll keep doing it. It's great.
That's awesome. Another big part, like I said, of the documentary is the Sheik battle and his addictions. You know, at one point with alcohol, at one point with drugs. Now being sober, I mean, it's got to be a completely different and incredible feeling to not have that. You know what I mean? The addictions taking over your life and not having that control.
I'm sorry. I'm completely changed. I'm a different person, and I learned from my mistake. And as a matter of fact, it was New Jersey, and I'm glad the young generation in the number one company in the world, WWE, learned from Hacksaw mistake and Iron Sheik mistake. They are good. They are clean. I'm the same as myself, and I'm completely different person since Megan Boyce, Pajman, and Jean tried to make a documentary about Iron Sheik, and they did a good job. And I'm completely different person. I'm very happy that God changed me, and I'm sometimes a lot of pain because for wrestling the sport, my knee, my ankle, my back, everything bad. I'm 73 years old now, but still I'm surviving. And thanks to the God, I talk to you guys.
Hey guys, if I can jump in just for a second, just to put it in perspective, like you know, the documentary basically traces the levels of championship he's lived as an athlete, as an American, as an Iranian, as a wrestler, and he was a champion, a substance abuse user. He was like the all-time top guy, you know. Wrestlers have told me in folklore that the amount of drugs that Sheik would take in one sitting sometimes could knock out a mama bear, a papa bear, you know, but Sheik could keep going. And, you know, and that's because he was an athlete. So he took it like as if he was an athlete, you know. It's such a weird thing, but he didn't, the drugs affected him in a completely different way. It was like energy for him, and as an athlete, he took it to levels of madness. But now he's the champion of being sober. It's just that's where he's at. And he's a champion grandfather. You know, like the Iron Sheik right now is basically his new gimmick is, you know, the Godfather. Right, that's his new thing. He's drinking a beer here and there. He's, you know, and he's just being a great grandfather, and he's being Khosrow Vaziri again. It's a wonderful, wonderful transformation.
Wow. That's awesome.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Like I say, I'm grandfather. I have 5 grandkids, and still I'm with family. And thanks to the Megan Boys and to the documentary about me, and thanks to my company and WWE and Mr. Gania. I mean, I cannot forget about Mr. McMahon and Mr. Gania and Megan Boys are all good to me, and I hope it's going to get better in the future for me.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. And with especially with a documentary that was done like this, I mean, it showed you in such a positive light, especially at the end of the film, where it's showing you to be that champion grandfather. And you can see the love, not just for your grandchildren, but for your daughters and your wife. I mean, you're truly a loving husband and father and grandfather, and it shows, and it spoke volumes in this film.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. You know what you're talking, and God bless you, and God bless you, all people helping me, Jake and Mike and Megan Boys and Mr. McMahon and Mr. Gania, Mr. Alan Rice, my Olympic coach, are excellent, and at least I made it so far that I saw the lights, but now I'm a completely different person.
And you're a great person.
Thank you.
What's that?
The Sheik's on a real great retirement trip right now, where he's just energizing, he's healing, he's getting checked regularly for his health and taking the right steps, and I think he's definitely had a crazy ride, and there's tons of miles on his body, but I think he's now kind of finally knowing that he is the Hall of Fame, Godfather. He's like the Betty White of wrestling.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's awesome. So with the film, go ahead. Sorry.
Hello.
No, he just he's going to have another run. He's going to keep having his runs. He's going to keep reinventing. It's I wouldn't be surprised if this documentary is not just that's his story. You could probably have another documentary by the time his story's done.
Well, I hope to see it. I really do. With this one, though, I mean, it's being considered. I mean, it's got tremendous reviews. I mean, a lot of people have even said this could possibly be the greatest wrestling documentary ever. The one thing I was wondering, do you know if Vince McMahon saw it or anybody up with WWE? Have you gotten any feedback from them on it?
So we've definitely got feedback from a lot of the wrestlers. They've reached out and emailed us or tweeted at the Sheik, and some real personal a lot of wrestlers came expressed that it was such a enlightening story for them, and it really motivated them, and they were really sincere about it. It was really great to hear the appreciation by some of the current guys in the locker room. But it still just came out. There was a mini release. We did a festival run last year, and it kind of got out to some underground fans, and then it came out for real in the past couple of months. And so, the way I think that this documentary business goes is that it's now out there forever, for everyone to see forever. It's not like an opening weekend Fast and the Furious kind of deal,
Right.
It's out there. It's out there, and I think, in time, when people are scrolling and streaming and looking for something to watch, if they do things online, they would consider stopping it if they have any memory or any recollection of, the Sheik in their lives, So I think people, from that generation are doing a lot of that watching, and I think, that the Sheik movie it's just the beginning. So I think, people will see it in time.
Absolutely. Now, something you said there was a generation. A big thing now in today's generation is the world of the MMA, which Sheik, I mean, if the MMA was around in your time, I mean, you would be champion of that as well. I mean, you were tailor-made for UFC. how do you think you would fare in the UFC or MMA?
Well, anybody have a good background of the Greco-Roman wrestling and freestyle wrestling and college wrestling, they can come to top for the M&M and also more fighting. And you're absolutely right. But I just turn all my energy, everything to professional. But
but Sheik, he's asking you. Like in your young day, if you matched up against a guy like Brock or CM Punk, in a shoot fight, what would happen in your young day?
Oh, my young days, I think I can be the winner because I was All-American AAU champion, Olympic, and all my life Greco-Roman freestyle. And people know I had more experience, more spend my time in the wrestling sport. Toughest sport in the Olympic, one-on-one individual. I think I can be the winner.
Wow.
I think so too. I have not a doubt in my mind.
Thanks.
I'd love to see that. That's a fantasy video game waiting to happen. Not even
right.
Like that'd be what a character that would be.
Yeah, if I don't believe myself, nobody else believes me because wrestling is all my life. Since 14 years old, I grew up with the toughest sport in the Olympic, one-on-one, individual, freestyle, and Greco-Roman. If you have that background since 14 years old, you grew up, you can be champion after the fighting, or you can be champion M&M, or also professional, whatever, and I leave it to the intelligent people who can talk about me. I don't want to put myself over too much.
Well,
I leave it to my wrestling fans, my movie fans, and Mr. McMahon and Hulk Hogan, all of them. They know I was real there. I was real at wrestling. I grew up with toughest sport in the world.
There's a scene in the documentary where he's training some young guys in a gym, and those guys were gassed in 5 minutes of the Sheik's training regimen. It was like ridiculous, like what he was getting them to do. And you could just picture him doing it when he was younger. It's just fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, seeing like I was saying earlier about the younger pictures of him, training in Iran and all, you could just see. I mean, he was just pure muscle.
Yeah, national sport in Iran wrestling, and I come to America, Minnesota. My team was 3 years All-American AAU champion, and my Olympic coach, Mr. Alan Rice, one of the best coach in the America, even Munich, and that's because I get along with Mr. Alan Rice, Mr. Gania, and I miss them. God bless you,
sure.
Mr. Gania. He was one of the best professional coach I had, and I have a lot of respect for himself, his son, 3 daughters. I feel bad about it. He lost his life last week, but I miss him. It was great to me. Same as I come to New York, Mr. McMahon and his family, all great people, good to me. And from Dallas, Colorado to here, and I'm just I'm a little bit bad shape now, knee, ankle, back. That's part of my sport because wrestling is not an easy job. That's not. A lot of people think wrestling is easy, but it's not.
Yeah.
Hello, guys. I got to. Sheik's got another podcast that he's got to do right now.
Alrighty. Well, let me just thank you both.
Maybe we can call back in time.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys would love to have you again and talk some more. I want to thank you both. And if possible, real quick, can I get the Sheik just to cut an ID for me? Throw one of his crazy phrases out there and to listen to Totally Driven Radio.
Well, yeah. What is it? Totally
Totally Driven Radio.
So Sheik, you gotta cut a promo. The name of the radio station is Totally Driven Radio. And you want to say something like, "This is Iron Sheik. Don't be a jabroni. Listen to Totally Driven Radio."
Say it again one more time, please, so I get an idea.
This is the name of the company is Total Driven Radio.
Total
Driven.
What is it called?
Total Driven Radio. Total Driven Radio.
Totally.
Driven Radio.
Yeah. And just cut a promo on them. Say, this is Iron Sheik. Don't be a jabroni. Listen to Total Driven Radio.
This is Iron Sheik. Don't be jabroni. Listen to the number one radio station, Total station, and have a good day.
That works, Sheiky. Thank you, Sheiky, baby. Jan, thank you so much. And good luck, and we'll keep promoting the documentary for you guys.
Yeah, it's on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, and it's going to come out on DVD with some special bonus footage later in the year.
Awesome.
Thanks again.
There you go.
Again, sir, thank you for all of radio, with the people listen to your radio station, and thanks to the Megan Boys and his family, and thanks to all my wrestling friends, movie friends, and my number one company in the world, WWE. God bless you guys. Have a good day.
Thanks, Sheiky. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right, everybody, there he goes. The legend himself. The true whatever you want to call it, F or E. The true world champion. Wow,
dude,
that was awesome.
As I was listening to it, it occurred to me that more than most, they've found a way through Twitter to really stay relevant. Like, a lot of guys at that level, now in their career, years later, they kind of fade into obscurity. You know what I mean? And it's amazing how he's managed to just completely still be there.
Dude, I'll tell you what, like in the documentary, they actually, like, one of the big things they discuss is his presence on Twitter, and actually the Rock like really puts him over huge about how, like, a lot of people, not just in the wrestling business, but people in Hollywood follow him because they can't wait to see what he's going to say.
It's absolutely amazing how they've managed to do it, and it's also kind of and I hate to use people's tragedy for conversation's sake and stuff like that. I'm not a guy that goes out there looking for the headlines to talk and stuff, but it occurred to me how incredibly sad it was to hear him talk about these people that he really cared about and really loved, and they're just gone. You know what I mean? And that's something that me and you have talked about before, with the fear of death and fear of getting old and stuff like that. And you could hear it, and you could hear that he genuinely missed having those people in his life. And man, it was kind of heartbreaking.
And if you could tell too, towards the end, like when he was talking about Vern Gagne, you can tell he was almost getting ready to cry.
Yeah, it's just absolutely, man. It was just incredibly emotional. I was really surprised that it got that deep that quick.
Yeah. And you know what was really cool too? Like when I was emailing back and forth with Jan earlier, he said you might get about 15 minutes because he's really upset over the whole passing of Vern Gagne. And
right.
I mean, we had him for almost 45, so.
Which is just that's amazing.
Yeah,
and like you
totally.
said, the lifespan there, just from the stuff in Iran to the stuff in America to the stuff to WWE and to the legend status, it's all just, I mean, it's one remarkable life after another, in a way. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'm telling you, you can go right on iTunes and you can rent it for 99 cents, and that's what I did this afternoon. And that's the first time I've ever rented like a video or a movie on iTunes. And you can rent it, and you got the option to watch it for 30 days. But once you do hit play on it, you got to watch it within 24 hours. So I watched it this afternoon at work, and it's awesome, man. It really is freaking awesome.
Yeah, I don't rent too much wrestling-related stuff and watch that kind of, even like the shoot interviews and stuff. But now I really do want to sit down and watch this.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. You'll definitely enjoy it. I mean, I've said many times, I'm a sucker for documentaries. I love good documentary, and this was well done, man. Very well done. And it's shocking too because they're twin brothers, that the ones that put this together, Jan and his brother. And it's a weird and incredible story, like he was saying, like how it turned out, like their father grew up with him in Iran.
No, the story that he told about how the mom just came into the room and was like, who the hell, cursing in our language. And then it just turns out that it was this guy, and, maybe they had lost touch and then reconnected. And that's an amazing story. And then to find out, of all people, it's the freaking Iron Sheik.
Oh, yeah, it's too funny.
I mean, think about it. How, imagine somebody came to you're watching TV and someone walks in the room and they're like, "Oh, Hulk Hogan, yeah, man, I went to high school with him."
Oh, too funny.
Totally crazy.
Oh, totally crazy. Totally Driven Radio strikes again. So, all right, let's take our first commercial break since we're way overdue. And we'll come back and we'll bullshit a little, and we'll be waiting for our good friend. And look, Mr. Giannetti is on hold, so we're going to take a commercial break. We'll come back and get Giannetti on the line, and we'll do some talking since our the fourth member of the Nerd Herd is on his way to go see the Avengers. So